Hey everybody, how you doing? Woo! Welcome to PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Woo! Joining live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What a game that was. It started out and it was, they weren't ready to play.
They were not ready to play to start this game.
One guy was. Dan Vladar, very ready to play tonight and kept them in it for the first 10, 15 minutes when it was just a shooting gallery. And then they eased their way into this one. Matvei Michkov breaks a 9-game goal streak. Sophomore slump officially dead. And we're off to the races, Charlie. It wasn't crazy like the Montreal game. It wasn't as high event as that nearly, but it was physical. It was ill-tempered at times. I enjoyed that game thoroughly, and hey, they came away with a win. That's 2 in a row.
Yeah, I would say it was a fun game to watch, even if the Flyers did not play their best.
Yes.
Dan Vladar played great. Clearly I'm not going to give it away, but clearly one of the stars of the game, let's say, one of the three. But the Flyers show up, and Nashville's all over them. The broadcast talked about how Nashville lost in heartbreaking fashion in their last game. Did seem like maybe they came in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, trying to redeem themselves after that weird ending to that game against the Minnesota Wild a couple days ago. And they were all over the Flyers. And they do come away with a 1-0 lead after it, but it could have been a lot worse.
Certainly could have.
Dan Vladar came up huge. After that, it was more even. I still think the Predators had the puck significantly more than the Flyers, but the Flyers had their chances. They had their forays into the offensive zone. They had their flurries, and obviously they get a few goals. The Predators are not a very good team.
No.
And that showed again in this one, given just how much time they had in the offensive zone and how little they were able to do with it. It was the same story last Thursday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena when these two teams played. Predators outshot them, outchanced them, but the Flyers came away with the win because they have more talent. That was part of it this time, but this one was also a little bit more of a grinded-out affair, and you have Dan Vladar, again, playing really, really good hockey.
Yeah, after that first period was a shooting gallery, especially really the first 10 minutes of it. They only give up, the Flyers, 14 shots. It was 13. It just got updated to 14 shots over the final 40 minutes. They're protecting a 1-goal lead in the third and only give up 4 shots. And they did spend way too much time, especially in the third, in the defensive zone. It was weird. Like early in the period, and then they started to push a little more later in the game to get back on offense. But I was impressed with the way they defended tonight because it wasn't just, we're going to keep you to the outside and let the shots through. And, Vladar makes 30 saves and most of them are easy. It wasn't that. It was along the boards, we are going to attack a little more, create battles, and limit the chances entirely. Like, you're in the offensive zone, but you're not getting a shot away. I did like a little bit more aggression from the team in the third period. Even though they're playing back, they took their shots to pin pucks up against the wall, force clears, force regroups. So I was impressed with that a little bit tonight.
I thought the third period they did a good job, where that was more of a period where the Predators had possession, but it wasn't useful possession.
Yes.
The first 2 periods, though, they had a lot of
Absolutely.
very useful, very productive possession that Dan Vladar just shut the door on.
Yeah, Vladar was excellent tonight. Let's do it. Let's do tonight's game changer, driven by Elkins Chevrolet. This could have been any number of guys. I thought about Mish. I thought about Vladar, especially for his first period. But someone I wanted to get to tonight is Cam York.
Yeah.
He was fan-freaking-tastic. The play he made to set up Mishkov's goal was honestly one of his most impressive plays offensively.
Yeah.
Gets held, very obviously grabbed.
I don't know if they called that or not, but they sure should have. It was glaringly obvious.
Did not see the arm go up.
I didn't see it either.
And the Eagles lost a Super Bowl on a much more ticky-tack hold than that had. But he shrugged it off, gets away from the contact, gets the puck out to Michkov. Cam York is having a really, really good start to the season. I know he missed the first few games, and I know I haven't always been the biggest Cam York believer, But he is making plays now at both ends of the ice that I've been waiting to see for a while. The points total is showing that he's just way more confident with the puck. He uncorked that one-timer the other night that was like, I don't know if I've ever seen him do that. He looks like he has taken his game to another level, and he was awesome tonight.
Yeah, Bill, you know I'm a stat guy, so you know I love to cite the numbers. But there are sometimes I will acknowledge when you look at the numbers and they look good, and then you watch the games and you just think they don't really match up. Perfect example being Jaeger Zamula last year had really good advanced stats, and I told you, I'm like, I don't know how, because I watch all of his games and I did not have a clue how his advanced metrics were that good. Cam York this year, though, is a guy where his numbers are great. I mean, going into this game, his full season, which was, in fairness, 10 games before this one, 60.54 expected goals for percentage of 5-on-5. That's fantastic. And now after this game, he has 9 points in 11 games. I mean, he's scoring at nearly a point per game pace. That's incredible. It's really, really good for a guy who you've been screaming for the last couple of years. How isn't he getting more points? Didn't they draft him to be an offensive defenseman? So the numbers are there, both in terms of 5-on-5 results and in terms of raw points. But then you watch him play and you can totally see why. Like, this is not an example of a guy who is getting great advanced metrics, but is just, is just there on the ice. He is actively making plays. You saw it with the pass to Michkov, to set up Michkov's goal. And you even saw it on the empty net goal. I mean, they're down. It's a 6-on-5 empty net. They got one guy fewer than the other team. And York just gets the puck calmly as can be, just flips that puck to the neutral zone. It's just one of those, it's not a flashy play, but it's exactly the right play to make. He hesitates just long enough so Dvorak can get out there. So it's not just a flip out to the neutral zone. It's almost a semi-pass. Dvorak makes a nice play, settling the puck down, and then getting it to Konechny for the game clinching goal. But York is just making these plays where they're smart plays, but they're also assertive plays. He's making it clear on almost all of his shifts that he's on the ice. Yes. And that's something he wasn't doing last year. There were too many shifts, too many games where he would get 19, 20 minutes and the game will be over. And you're like, did Cam York play?
Like, did Jim Jackson say his name once?
Yeah, I don't remember watching Cam York do anything. This year, it's like every shift I'm noticing him.
I feel like there's a couple of things. One, he's playing at a higher level than he has in the past. I wonder if, because we saw him, we've made note of it a lot last year. Like, Nick Seeler obviously is going to have like 300 block shots or whatever. You know who's second? It's little Cam York. I wonder if the new style of defense where it's not so focused on shot blocking is just allowing him to make more plays, because that's another thing I've noticed. Like, we've talked about, okay, the rush defense, that's what does he do really well? He's really good at defending the rush. But this year, it seems like not only is he making the defensive play, but then following it up with getting the puck going the other way. That's something I think I've noticed a lot out of him this year, that I think it was just one play instead of two in the past. And now now we're going the other way with it. And we're not stuck in the defensive zone, even though you made the initial play. So I'm been really, really impressed by a player who I haven't always been like, oh yeah, this guy definitely is part of the future. Now, I don't see how, obviously he is. He signed the 5-year deal, but now that's a hell of a contract.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, William. Before I ask you the question, I want to set it up. Because Cam York right now, he's getting regular power play time on the better of the two power play units, certainly the more effective of the two power play units. Tonight, he got 24 minutes and 55 seconds worth of ice time. Okay, that was second only to Travis Sanheim. Is it really just as simple as he no longer has a coach who hates him? Is it really just that simple?
Yes. Yeah, honestly, this guy, we saw what he could do, at the development program with Team USA, and, Trevor Zegras and other people have been asked, this year, as you see him, Cam York kind of really, really, as you said, announce himself. Yeah. Is this the guy you remember? And they're just like, this is who he's always been. It's just, maybe it was the personality issue, along with the system issue, along with, we just didn't have talent to take advantage of it the way we do now. There's guys younger than him and around his age that are also kind of entering their prime, so it's happening all together. But there's probably a lot to the Tortorella thing. I would when the coach who at the end of the day, like think what you will of Tortorella, everyone's thing about him is like the thing that separates him from like the Babcocks who just were egomaniacs is he cares. Even if you end up hating him, like he is trying to teach you to make you a better player. He cares about the men in the room. When he's threatening your career in the middle of the locker room, like I'll bury you in a contract year, like that means it was out of control. Yeah. That means this may have been way crazier, or at least tense than we really realized at the time.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And my thing with this is like, yes, some of it is absolutely that he finally isn't playing for a coach who seemingly is out to get him and is only playing him because he has to. Because it's like, well, who else am I going to give the minutes to? I guess I have to give it to this guy whose personality I clearly don't like. Yeah. I also do think that, you know, there's been some debate about how good of a developer of talent Rick Tocchet really is. And I think a lot of that comes down to, like, how much do you give him credit for, you know, we know that he has good relationships with Sidney Crosby and Phil Kessel, but, like, they were already fully formed. Quinn Hughes did take a big leap under Rick Tocchet. Perhaps Rick Tocchet is legitimately good at developing young defensemen because the two, like, both Cam York and Jamie Drysdale look better this year.
Yes.
They do. Drysdale's taking a little bit of a dip recently, but he still looks better than most of last season. And York's taking a big jump. Maybe Tocchet's developmental skills are more obvious when it comes to the defensemen versus the forwards.
It is very funny to me that, like, we're talking about York, Drysdale, you look back at Quinn Hughes, who's, like, you know, one of the best defensemen in the league now. The thing he doesn't want is the thing he's best at developing. Like, yeah, we have these small, like, puck mover-ish defensemen who aren't overly physical. Yeah, he's great at making them into, like, complete players, even though he doesn't want them on his team. Like, yeah, I'm going to turn these guys into something so we can trade them for something I want. Maybe that's it. But, yeah, that's Cam York, tonight's game changer, driven by Elkins Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. It is now, again, we have to, how long, okay, so what's your sample size? Because I feel like we've said so many times, if someone was taking a shot every time we were like small sample size or still early, whatever, like they'd be dead from alcohol poisoning. When do we stop saying it? Like, when is it no longer? Is it 20 games? Is that like a fair enough sample that we can stop saying it's early? Like, just for you, for your...
Yeah, I feel like by the end of November is when I stop thinking like, well, I would say with the team, to me, the 10-game mark for the team is when I start being like, all right, this may just be who the team is. This year's a little bit different for the Flyers because they're onboarding a new system. So I'm less willing to be like, well, who they are 10 games is who they are. For them, it's probably going to take a little bit longer for us to fully understand what they are because right now they haven't yet fully mastered everything that Rick Tocchet wants them to do. In year 2, I probably will be like, yeah, after 10 games, I have a pretty good handle on who this team is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For individual players, though, yeah, I would say the first 2 months. So maybe by the end of November, like if Cam York still looks like this, maybe like, yeah, it looks like Cam York's taking the lead. If Drysdale still has strong advanced metrics for the first time in his career, because his advanced metrics at 5-on-5 really never been all that great. Last year, they were like mid. The years before, they were actively bad. If they're still good by the end of November, I'll be feeling pretty good about it. By the same token, maybe this is a good segue, if Matvei Michkov is still struggling at the end of November and is still, you know, at half point per game pace, I'll be worried. Right now, I'm not. I'm more like, all right, come on, Mich, get going. But, like, I'm not worried. I won't be worried about him unless he's still doing, you know, stuff like the first period in, you know, at the on Thanksgiving in the Black Friday game.
I think that's actually a really good way to put it. Like, first 10 games for the team, because that's the Elliot Friedman thing. If you're, I think, more than 4 points out of a playoff, you have like a 75% chance of missing the playoffs. And like, there's usually only 2 or 3 teams that qualify. It's like, we can tell at least if you suck or you're good in 10 games. And then it's, if you're somewhere in the middle, it'll take a little longer. Right. But then by Thanksgiving, that's like, yeah, man, you ain't making the playoffs. Yeah. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah, if you're 6-7 points out, like, it's probably
so. I think those are good benchmarks. I just wanted to know, because I feel like we've said, well, you know, it's early, but like 150 times in the last 2 weeks. All right, I do want to come back and talk about Matvei Michkov. He scores his first goal in 10 games tonight. But first, got to tell you about our presenting sponsor. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. From the 90 million users worldwide, the almost 800,000 live stream events each year. And you know, I love that early payout offer. If your team, you bet them on the money line or make them part of a parlay, opens up a 3-goal lead in an NHL game, you're a winner. No need to sweat it. It's that simple. Your parlays are marked as winners, and your moneyline bets cash out immediately. So you can come back, play it the other way, double down, maybe get some extra props in there, whatever you want, because it's never ordinary at Bet365. And we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And I just told you about the game changer, but Flyers fans, you know who's dishing out those championship level car deals every single day? It is our friends at Elkins Chevrolet, located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. It's run by three brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh, and these guys are in the store every single day working to make sure they have a huge lineup of Chevys at prices that you just can't beat. They call it honking good service. It's never any missed shots, no drama, just real brothers running a local business and backing every deal like they're Dan Vladar. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy, make your next move to Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Shop now at elkinchevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
All right. Before we get into some Matvei Michkov talk, we're at 89 likes. I know we got 350 plus viewers watching. We got a breeze past 200 tonight. This was a big win. It was a fun win.
Really fun game to watch tonight.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, no Sixers competing with us tonight, so you're all here. Hit the freaking like button. And while you're doing things that I demand, maybe check out our own Rich Hofmann's newsletter. PHLY Daily shows up in your inbox every single weekday. All you got to do to subscribe, scan that QR code right there on the screen, or go to newsletter.allphly.com. Filled with stats and facts and all sorts of stuff so you can catch up on the night before's action, previews, everything you could possibly want, all right to your inbox, courtesy of PHLY and Rich Hofmann. All right. Matvei Michkov. We are going to go to tonight's Ace Hardware temperature check. We're going to take a look at who's heating up or cooling off with our Ace Hardware temp check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. I am hoping that this is the beginning of some rising mercury here for number 39. You like that?
I do. I like that.
I was really proud that I
well
could
done,
think. I
William.
was really proud I could think of the word mercury.
It's almost like you're good at this job.
It's all right. He scores the goal tonight. He only plays just under 13 minutes, which I wanted to keep an eye on in the third period, protecting that 1-goal lead, because he does score, and that's huge. 9-game goalless drought. But in the first period, turnover machine?
Yeah.
He had a rough game other than the goal, but maybe the goal is the thing that finally breaks it loose. We've been waiting since, we've been waiting 14 games for this, and it hasn't quite happened yet. He hasn't had that big breakout. Maybe this is the start of it, although 13 minutes is, all right. Coach isn't saying too much.
I thought it was noteworthy that, because I feel like Michkov, in his time in the NHL, and we've seen a couple times where he's really been demonstrative with the celebrations, but usually he kind of has that like too cool for school celebration where he's just like showing off a little bit. He was really into it on this one, and you could just kind of tell by watching the celebration of how much he really, really wanted a goal, probably in no small part because he knew how bad he was in the first period, and he was really bad in the first period. Like, look, we can say, it would have been good if he got more minutes. This is a game where, honestly, despite the goal, like I can't give Tocchet too much grief about the fact that he didn't clear 13 minutes in this game. Because number one, he was actively bad for an entire period. Number two, this is a tight game. And when you got a guy who was turning the puck over that much in the first period, I don't know if I would have confidence with Michkov out there too much in the third. And he did give him a few shifts in the third. It's not like he benched him entirely. Looks like his final shift, looking at the shift chart, was at the 6:19 mark and ended up being a pretty long one, about a minute and a half. So it ended after the 5-minute mark had already passed. But he does get 4 shifts in the third, so it's not like he got benched entirely. And, it would have been nice if they would have gotten an insurance goal. Wouldn't have to wait for an empty netter. But this was a game where it was very tight checking. It was physical. It was one mistake could break you. And I guess I kind of understand why, even though he scored, this is a game where maybe this version of Matvei Michkov, not the version I'm hoping we get in a couple of weeks when he's really rolling, but this version of Matvei Michkov, maybe you don't want to be playing him a ton.
What I am seeing right now, and the broadcast pointed it out, is teams are trying to smother him. They are not giving him time or space to make those slick passes, to get pucks to dangerous areas. And with much less room, he's just having a lot of trouble controlling the puck. There was a play tonight. Both ends of the ice. He does a zegras impression, attempts a centering pass, little behind the back thing. Wasn't overly flashy. It was there, but it gets broken up. Play comes down the other way, but he's there.
Yeah.
He gets back and makes the play to break up the entry, and I'm like, all right, way to go, okay. And then immediately, and the cameraman had a rough night tonight, so I'm not exactly sure what happened, but he skated back into the zone with the puck, gets pinned along the boards, and suddenly they have a scoring chance. Yeah. It was like, bad, good, bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's doing stuff out there. We talk about his IQ and just how well he thinks the game, and right now I feel like he's just fighting it. He is fighting the game.
It does look like he's fighting the game. The decision-making is not where it has been in the past. Some of that, I'm sure, is frustration. Like, I don't think with him, I don't think it's a lack of confidence. Because there are some guys where, like, for example, like a Travis Sanheim, when he's struggling, I immediately think it's a lack of confidence. He's struggling with his confidence. He's starting to question himself. He's starting to question whether he's as good as he really is. I don't think Michkov struggles with confidence, but I do think he can get frustrated. I think he's a guy where, when he is in his peak, he's a guy who you could probably bait into some retaliation penalties because he can get frustrated. Yeah. You can get under his skin. And I just get the sense that he's kind of under his own skin right now. Like, he's frustrated at himself that he's not doing what he thinks he should be doing out there. And that seems like my guess, that might be what's driving these bad decisions. I love the fact that he scored, and hopefully that settles him down a little bit going into these next few games. But again, there have been some games, and I mentioned it on our last show yesterday, like there have been some games where he's rolling, and I'm like, Rick, you got to get him more minutes. Yeah. Like, I want him to get 18 minutes of this game, not 15. Get him some extra shifts. This game, even though he scores a goal, I can't be too critical of Tocchet limiting his minutes because he had so many bad shifts.
Like, even the goal, listen, he had to bury it, and he's had such a problem with that this year. Like, for such a poised, accurate shooter, like when he does get shots, they're just like not going in this season. So hats off for that. You needed it. You got it. Hopefully there's more. But so many goals and assists last year. Like, half the time, Michkov, like, even if he didn't score, even if he got the secondary, it was like he made the whole thing happen. He saw it. Tonight, even the goal, it's like going back to Cam York. That was Cam York's play.
Yeah.
And Bobby Brink as well.
Yeah.
Like, Bobby Brink, really, the fight
work.
he had to get knocked down because he got rocked, it looked like.
He did.
And he makes the play from his ass to get the puck to Coots, and then Coots gets it over to York. Like, that was them. And then Mish finished it off. Need that. But he just hasn't looked at all like the player we've seen last year, short of a few partial games, I guess.
Yeah. And as I said, we just had this conversation earlier in the show about, when does it stop being a small sample? And I think for me, for a player, it's probably end of November is when I stop being like, small sample, learning a new system. For Michkov specifically, you have the conditioning issues with the ankle injury in his summer. I probably stopped cutting him slack at the end of November into the early part of December. We're not there yet. It's only November 6th. He's got another 3-4 weeks before I start being like, maybe this is just going to be a sophomore slump year. I still think there's time. And hopefully this goal gets him going. And then once he gets going, hopefully he starts earning the confidence of Rick Tocchet and starts getting more minutes. But right now, I'm glad he got the goal. It was a big goal. It was, in my mind, the turning point of this game because the Flyers got outplayed in this game overall and were getting outplayed prior to that goal. So it was a big goal, and props to Michkov for getting it. Someone had to get that goal, and he got it. But I can't I can't come away from this game being angry that he didn't get that many minutes.
No, that's silly, honestly, especially with the way this game went, it being a one. It's not as if Rick Tocchet or any coach would trust Michkov. Like, oh yeah, third period, 1-goal game. That's like where I'm gonna really let him roll out there. Like, that's not going to happen. That might never be the kind of player he is. But in this one, when he was actively bad in the first period, I can't blame the coach for this one. Yeah. I am giving him, I've decided, I have found the day. I am giving him till December 9th. That is his birthday. It is his 21st birthday.
Okay.
I will not judge him until he is 21 years old. Once he becomes legal drinking age in the United States.
He's no longer a child. He's a man.
He is no longer a child. You can go to the bar and order yourself a beer. I will start judging you then. But right now, it is cautious optimism. Temperatures rising a little bit maybe after he finally broke that goal drought. And
hopefully.
We saw last year, sometimes it just takes one, and then he's off. And who knows? He could lead the team in points by the end of this month. I wouldn't doubt it. Like, that wouldn't shock me if he just flips the switch one day.
Yeah,
because
we saw it last year. Wouldn't shock me even a little bit.
We saw it last year. He had some slumps, and then all of a sudden it was, he's back, and then he was back for 2 weeks.
Yep.
Like, that could easily happen.
Yep.
So I am not writing him off by any means. So the guy who keeps DMing me asking if he's Nail Yakupov.
Really? You're getting someone DMing you saying he's Nail Yakupov?
I had someone send me, it was like a StatMuse screenshot of their like first 93 or whatever, however many games that he's played, like his and Yakupov's first 93 games. Mm-hmm. And like the assist total, like goal totals, I think Mish was up by like 1 goal before tonight. The assist totals were almost double.
Okay.
But the thing with that is, show me a guy who isn't a Russian. Like, if this was if this dude's name was John Smith, would you be comparing him to Yakupov? No, you'd be comparing him to Nolan Patrick probably. But let's take the step back. We saw it. We saw how good of a player he is, and not just, like we say about Zegras, not just for clicks. It wasn't just, he was making good, smart plays. He looked like a sustainable player in this league. And right now he's in a little bit of slump. Hopefully we're coming out of it. And that is the Ace Hardware Temp check. All right, where do you want to go next, Charlie? Because I kind of want to circle back to Vladar.
Let's talk about Dan Vladar.
I don't think we gave him his just due.
We did not, given the quality of the game he just had. And it's easy to forget because we get laser focus on what just happened. He hadn't been playing that well recently, and we talked yesterday about, if Sam Ersson is healthy, obviously he was removed from IR earlier today, but they don't want to necessarily throw him right back into the fire into a game, so Vladar gets this game. If Ersson's healthy, Ersson probably plays this game. You know, if there's no injury, you're thinking like, we can use, the next few days for Vladar to work directly with Kim Dillaball and do some remedial work and figure out what was wrong with his game over the last couple. But instead, because of the Ersson injury, you got to just throw Vladar back out there and hope he can figure it out on the fly. And oh man, he figured it out on the fly.
And I praise this team's defense in the third period and the way that they not only kept things to the outside, but really shut it down, locking them up along the boards. 10 shots in the first period, stop 9 of them. The one that goes in is, it definitely hit Drysdale, may have hit Ryan O'Reilly. It fluttered into the net. No one knew what the hell happened. Like, he was like, what, the puck's behind me? How? Why? After that,
you wouldn't even be able to blame Sam Ersson on that goal.
No, I would not be able to hold that one against Ersson or even Michael Layton. No, I could definitely blame him.
Yeah, you could blame Layton.
You see the numbers for the game: 23 of 24. He was fantastic.
So good.
The second period, when the defense was not good, when in fact the defense was just falling down in front of him and it was utter freaking chaos, the three of us are just sitting there like, what is going on right now? He's flopping around. Yep. He's got to make rebound saves. There's guys all over him. It is traffic and then some. And poise. He just looked like the guy that we saw in those first 6 games. And Charlie, dare I say, the Vezina campaign is back on.
Heyo. I think, it's funny, and maybe part of this is because the Flyers weren't down for a lot of this game, and the Predators aren't that good of a team. So, because it seems like based on what I'm reading in the chat, a lot of people are kind of like, I don't really feel like the Flyers are outplayed that much. I'm going to give you the numbers here, okay? The Preds generated 21 high-danger chances across all situations. They generated 4.28 worth of expected goals, okay? Let's take a step back here. Vladar faced 21 high-danger chances and over 4 expected goals. and he allowed 1 goal on a total fluke play. That's all he allowed. Like, if anything, I think you're underrating the sheer amount of quality chances that the Predators put up in this game because Vladar stopped them all.
Yeah, and I would say, like, when the Flyers did get going, they controlled for long stretches, and like you kind of so all right, they're past it, but the Preds never stopped. Like the Preds never like totally fell off. It was tight the whole way, and I don't know if I would say the Flyers got drastically outplayed in this one, but I would say the Preds were overall probably the better team.
I think
tonight.
so. Yeah, I absolutely think so. And I think the one thing that the Flyers this year have been really good at, and tonight they weren't as good at, is defending against rebounds and clearing pucks. So far this year, this game aside, they have done a really good job of making sure that, like, yeah, we'll give you the first shot, but you're not getting the second shot, and you're certainly not getting a third shot. This game, there were a bunch of times where there were rebounds he had to stop. There were rebounds after the rebound that he had to stop. That was where they were racking up the high danger chances and the expected goals. But it's easy to forget how difficult those plays are when the goalie stops them all.
No, that's every time it seemed like Philip Forsberg had the puck on his stick. Like he was just putting on a clinic in the middle of the ice. He was drawing the defense out of position, and then luckily either he'd find someone on the back door and they would whiff, or Vladar was there. Like that's really, I think, the story of this game, and it's Vladar. The volume wasn't heavy because they only gave up 4 shots in the third. They did finally lock it down.
Yeah, they did.
But it was high leverage the whole way. There was never a time where they weren't looking dangerous, especially in the first 40 minutes. So I definitely have to give it to Vladar tonight, who this was something I really, really was curious about because we don't know Dan Vladar. He's been playing out in Calgary, backup. Career high 29 starts. He's going to have that by like Christmas this year if this keeps up. We don't know like what the mental makeup is. I like what I saw for the most part. A meh game, a bad game. Okay, what now? Because I don't know. Did you want to put Kolasov in? I do think Ersson backed up tonight.
He did.
But he's right back out there. You don't want to put Ersson. All right, how's he respond? He responds with a fantastic game.
Yeah. You gotta love, because as we talked about after Tuesday's game, I thought Saturday was a disappointment, but it wasn't like he was actively bad. There was maybe 1 goal, the 4th goal in that game against Toronto, where I'm like, I really would want to save there. The rest of them, okay, whatever. He was mere mortal in that game after being incredible in his first few. That's fine. You deal with it. Against Montreal, especially in that second period, he was bad. Yeah, he was real bad. Now, he locked it down to his credit in the third period and overtime, and then especially the shootout. Great job. But there were long stretches of that game on Tuesday where Dan Vladar was bad. That third goal where he doesn't seal the post, like that was an ugly goal to give up. And you're starting to wonder, was it just a hot streak? Or maybe it wasn't a hot streak, but maybe now there's something wrong with them. Teams now have identified something on tape and they're going to take advantage. And maybe it'll be an Ersson thing where it's going to take him 2-3 weeks to figure out how to adjust back. Well, look, Predators aren't that good of a team, but if he had to adjust back, it sure looks like he did. Because even though the Predators aren't that good, I'm going to take a look at some of the high danger chance numbers. Phil Forsberg, pretty darn good player. He's got a high danger chance. Jonathan Marchessault, 2 high danger chances. Ryan O'Reilly, 3 high danger chances. Steven Stamkos, 2 high danger chances. So he's stopping guys who can finish. Like, this isn't like Nick Hague had 3 high danger chances or Nick Blankenberg. Like, they weren't driving the offense. There were more than enough chances from the Predators guys who can actually score. And Vladar was there, and he shut them down.
He absolutely did. Very, very impressed with Vladar tonight. Just his ability to bounce back. And you look at the Predators, you look at their inability to score. Like, Stamkos got his second the other night, and it was like, oh, thank goodness. The weight of the world's off his shoulders. Like, they are a struggling team. But tonight, they didn't look that way, at least for the first 30 minutes of the game or so. Like, they were applying some pressure, and when they broke through, it was Vladar there. All right, I want to do a little bit more of this on the other side, maybe a little more of Vladar. I want to get into Emil Andrae, see if Tocchet followed through on his hope to be able to find him some more minutes. Did he? I don't know. I actually have to look at the box score. But before that, I got to tell you about Monarch. Take it from somebody who has been financially irresponsible for most of their life. When you're not on top of your money, things can just really get away from you and snowball, and that's what makes Monarch so great. By using Monarch, I realized how much more I could be saving just because they give you such solid information and it's such easy to understand visuals, the categorization, all of it is so easy to keep track of. They link all of your accounts, show you what's going in and what's coming out, and suddenly you have a handle on things. It is a tremendous service, and it's built for people with busy lives. They do the heavy lifting for you so you don't get complacent. You don't necessarily need to track every dollar, but you do need to make sure you are saving efficiently. Monarch isn't just another finance app. It's a tool real professionals and experts actually love, and that's why it was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code PHLY. And now I have to tell you about our friends at Crooked Tea, baby, because everybody's got their favorite hard tea. But have you ever turned that can around to see what's inside? Well, you can't, because most of them just don't tell you. And while others might hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about what they've got. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. There's no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So next time you're at the store, easy, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, just put it back on the shelf and grab yourself a Crooked Tea, zero sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. Philly recognizes real. We know what's up. So why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better, strip sack and soup bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. Ersson's activated, so we're probably going to see him Saturday, I would guess. Why would they take him off otherwise?
That would make sense, you would think. Also, Vladar did play the 2 games this week.
Yes.
So you ideally wouldn't want to have to play him 3 times, especially if Ersson's healthy. Now, Kolosov is still on the roster, but I do agree with you. It's probably just precautionary, and there's the added factor of, if you send Kolosov down, then he doesn't get in a game, then what do? Do you call Bjarnason up? You don't want to do that just to be a backup and maybe give him an early game when he's not ready. So it probably has to do with that. I would guess Ersson plays Saturday.
All right. We talked pregame, and we listened to Rick Tocchet's actual words, saying he wanted to find extra shifts and some more minutes for Emil Andrae.
He's still looking.
In 2 of Andre's 3 games this year, he has not played 11 minutes. Tonight he did play 11:15, but that's not exactly, I think, what Tocchet was saying. Like, I'm going to get him another shift and a half. I thought he played well tonight. He may have had a couple of mistakes, but overall, I thought he made a bunch of really good plays. What did you think about Emil Andrae?
Yeah, I mean, with the puck, he's really good. He pushes the play. He can make decisions in traffic in a way that very few defensemen of his age can. He just has poise, which is cool. Now, yeah, you're right. There were some mistakes defensively. It was a tight game. It was a tight game where around the net, the Flyers had scrambling moments, and he was involved in a couple of them. But he brings a puck-moving element. He brings an assertive element that they just don't have in the other guys in this third-pair rotation. Like, that's just what it boils down to. Is he perfect? No. Is he clearly much more effective than all of Adam Yinning, Yegor Zamula, and Noah Juleson? Yeah, by a lot.
I was just thinking about this the other day. We'll get back to Andrae, but Yinning hasn't played in a while. Is this just the Tocchet likes 8 defensemen sort of thing? Like, is that? And I guess you don't want to put him through waivers and risk losing him for no real reason. It's not like, he's 26. You're like, we don't really need you on the Phantoms. We're not developing you anymore. Yeah. Is it just like, we like being able to run even numbers in practice because 7 means a guy has to rotate in and out? Like, I don't get why he's here still.
I mean, Tocchet likes that, to be sure. I think probably it's more that they haven't needed to. Now that Andre's up and now that Ersson is back, and I would assume at some point Kolosov will be sent down, I mean, who else is there really to call up?
It's fair.
So at this point, it's just the path of least resistance to keep Yinning up with the team. You don't have to risk him to waivers, even though I don't think he'd be claimed, but I guess there's a non-zero possibility. Why not just keep him up until you have a need? Now, if guys start getting hurt, if there starts to be some injury issues, if and when Ristolainen comes back, then there's probably going to be a conversation. But in the here and now, I think it may just be like, well, it's easier to keep him.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, Adam Yinning, I forgot. Like, he hasn't played in like 2 weeks, I feel like.
He hasn't played for a bit, and I don't know when he gets back in, because even if there's a game where you want to pull Andrae out, I feel like Zamula is above Yinning on the on the organizational depth chart in terms of the priority list.
I would tend to believe that. Just in terms of Andre's ice time and what we're seeing out of him, much the way we talked about Michkov, like, yeah, man, we want Matvei Michkov to play more, but the type of game this was does not lend itself to this guy that doesn't necessarily have the coach's trust in that way. Like, yeah, he wants
at least not this version of him.
Yeah, this version of him.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Maybe not the glaring mistakes that Michkov made, especially in that first period for Andrae, but enough of those scrambly moments where it's just absolute freaking chaos because the defense is in a blender, basically. That Tocchet's like, yeah, I know I said it today, but it doesn't have to be today that I find him those minutes. I'm willing to accept that answer.
I mean, they won, so it's easier to accept it when they win. Now,
sure.
If they lose, and you're like, well, why did you give Andrae 16 minutes? We lost, and you gave him 11. What the hell, Rick? But when you win, it's a lot easier to forgive things. Also, I mean, not going to lie, I wanted to see more Cam York tonight. Like, I'm not mad that Cam York got 14.55 instead of 22 so that you could get Emil Andrae a few extra shifts. I wanted to see more Cam York, too.
No, and we have seen this, like, yeah, sometimes you're just the victim of other guys are going, and Cam York clearly going. So, like, he's going to play 25 minutes. That's the way it's going to be. I could probably find myself a spot for, like, him to come in for Nick Seeler or something. But, again, the type of game this was, Nick Seeler, he's more built for this. I did notice maybe the highlight for me watching Andrae tonight is skates the puck out of the zone, gets the red line, dumps it in, and as a guy is coming to hit him, he noticed him and spun out of the way. I was like, yes, he has learned, because that was the biggest thing last year. Like, this guy can play, but he's gonna get killed. And it's just something you have to raise that IQ a little bit. Like, okay, I have to be aware when I'm out here that they are big, fast, angry, strong men who are trying to hurt me. And at least on that play, I was like, all right, there it is. There's that thing that we saw last year that might be a little different. But based on Tocchet's comments today, it seems like he's going to get a little run, stay in the lineup, and that's fine. If tonight wasn't the night he gets the minutes, but it's Saturday, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, and we'll see. At some point, he's got to get some more minutes. But yeah, in the here and now, hey, you won the game. You played the game that was in front of you, and maybe you didn't feel like Andrae was the best fit for it. And I can't say that you were wrong because your team won. Yeah,
and again, you gave up 4 shots in the third, and like 2 or 3 of them were on the power play. So it's hard to argue with the defensive strategy in that case. Speaking of being on the penalty kill, Charlie.
Okay.
This PK is real good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was and Vladar played a big role, to be sure.
Of course.
But the penalty killers did a real good job, too. This looks like it's a legitimately really good PK. Top 10 in the league penalty kill.
They give up the 2 to the Habs the other night, and it's like, yeah, man, sometimes they beat you. And especially a team with the shooting percentage, the shooting heater they're on right now, and just... like, that's the kind of team they are. They beat you on the power play. Yeah. They're that good at Lane Hudson, Cole Caulfield. Like, these guys are awesome at this. Yeah. And
Demidov seems like
Demidov is
very quickly established himself as an elite power play guy.
That shot was, but like, okay, sometimes that happens. They come right back tonight. First two PKs, they don't give up a shot. I think they gave up 2 on the last one in the third period. But they've now killed 31 of 34. I won't say they're dangerous like they were in, 23-24 season when they had the 16 shorthanded goals, because that's insane. But they are, even without scoring, just as effective at keeping the other team off the board.
Yeah, and looking at these numbers, they kill 6 minutes worth of power plays. They allowed 1 shot on goal in those 6 minutes. Like, that's really impressive stuff. 8 shot attempts, but 7 of them don't get through to the goalie. Vladar made his 1 save, and he was in position, and he did a good job. Some of those misses probably come because, he's in position. So you're trying to pick corners and you miss. But the penalty killers made sure he didn't have to face a lot of shots, despite the fact that there were multiple times. I mean, they have to kill two penalties in the third period, right?
Yeah. There was that
In a one-goal game.
In a one-goal game, like that is a tight situation, and even their 15% power play. Sometimes it will score, and it's sometimes about when, not how many. And if they get that one, it's like, well, the power play tied the game, and they didn't allow it, and that was huge. I'm really, really impressed with the way, considering what we thought of this defense coming into the season, when we're like, boy, do we miss Risto. Like when that is our thought process about this defense, like I am shocked, honestly, that the PK is this good this early and that this is the D group doing it.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
All right. What do we want to do next? You know what? Let's take the last break, and then we can do some other stuff as well. I probably should have been prepared for this. All right. I have to tell you. Oh, you have to prepare for this. It's Anaheim, baby. It's the California takeover. Philly Sports Trips and PHLY are teaming up to take some of the most dedicated Flyers fans all the way across the country to visit our friend, the league's leading goal scorer, Cutter Gauthier, in his home barn, the Honda Center. Then we're going to go to the Kings game to see the Kings at the Staples. That's right, I'm calling it Staples. We're going to have a watch party for the Sharks game on that trip. It's March 17th to the 22nd, so you have plenty of time to enjoy the sun, enjoy the sights, have yourself a little Disney trip maybe. Whatever it is you want to do, you got to come on out with us and Philly Sports Trips. It is going to be a fantastic trip. And if that wasn't enough, John freaking LeClaire is going on the trip. You ever want to meet number 10? You ever want to meet a Flyers legend? Well, you're going to get a chance at an exclusive meet and greet with John LeClaire. Just go to allphly.com/events to book your trip today. And now it is time to tell you about something we're doing here at the PHLY community, because we want to thank you for being part of this PHLY community. We're always looking to improve our shows and better understand how you listen and what you value most. And that's why we've launched this quick little survey for you. Your feedback helps us shape the content you love and make it even better. It only takes a couple of minutes, but it makes a big impact. So take a moment, head to allphly.com/survey and let your voice be heard. Respondents have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card, so you might get something out of it yourself as well. We appreciate you very much. Thank you for being part of PHLY. Very much appreciate it. And go take that survey, allphly.com/survey.
So, William, I want to talk to you because we were talking about the penalty kill. Penalty kill has been very, very good. I want to talk about these penalties because the Flyers have been taking a lot of penalties. Objectively speaking, they've been taking too many penalties. But doesn't it seem like they're taking a lot of penalties that really shouldn't be penalties?
Like, they show the Hathaway one. It's like, yeah, man, you can't do that. Like, not in this spot. Like, yeah, if you want to get a shot in on someone, you're up 3 goals, go right ahead. You're Garnet Hathaway. You've been battling all night. Here's your chance. Get him. But, like, I don't know, man. The roughing they call for a high hit where it's like the dude's own stick hits him in the face.
That was the Juleson one, yeah.
And the Juleson penalty. I will say, though, you are allowed to challenge. I don't actually, if it's roughing, I don't know if you are.
Yeah,
it has to be a high stick call. So maybe not, because my thought was like, well, where's the video team on that one? But if there's nothing you can do about a rough.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't called a high stick. But it's like, the dude, it was shoulder to shoulder, and the dude gets himself in the, really? But all season, I have said, the stuff they are calling and letting go doesn't make any sense to me. The hook that we got, that we drew in the first period, I think, okay, sure. And then, we got one that was basically the same. I don't understand what is and isn't a penalty now. It's basically goalie interference. It's all just, I don't know, they're making it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm even just going back to 2 nights ago. Like, the Habs score 2 goals in the second period on power plays that probably both of those power plays should not have happened. Bobby Brink takes a penalty where, he touches a guy with his shoulder and, I don't know, you're allowed to fight through contact. It is a contact sport.
Yeah,
and then I think Sanheim gets called for a really weak one where, I don't know, he's just jostling with a guy and he falls down and they call a penalty. I guess by the letter of the law, it's a penalty, but that never gets called. Like, I've been watching hockey my entire life. It never gets called. I'm not absolving the Flyers here. They have, especially in terms of stick penalties, been a bit too cavalier. I think that comes back to being behind the play more because you're learning a new system more than you should be. But it also seems like at least once a game, they're getting called for a penalty, and I am not one to be like, the refs stink. I'm usually very forgiving. I hate blaming the refs for outcomes in any sport. But it just seems like so far this year, the Flyers are like, yeah, they've had some issues with discipline, but they're also getting hit with some really, really weak calls.
It's the two things are combining to be like, and we kill 6 penalties a game. Like, I think they're averaging like 5 minors a game, like non-concurrent. Like the actual.
They're lucky the penalty kill's been this good.
If it wasn't, they would have 0 wins.
It'd be rough.
Like they would have no wins if this penalty kill stunk. But luckily, it has come back to life and then some for them. It has been a very odd year for the way games have been called.
Yeah, like the Hathaway one, that was one where my first instinct was, oh, come on. And then the more I thought about it, it's not necessarily what he did. To me, it was, because you see those plays all the time where, like, way behind the play, a guy's sitting on another guy, he's giving them shots, and the refs just stare at it. And you're like, how is that not a penalty? And they never call it. I feel like the difference with this one was that he was in the play.
Yes.
Like the puck
was happening.
The puck is there, and he's sitting on top of the guy giving him shots. Like, yeah, if the puck's in the neutral zone, they'll probably let him get away with it. But that's in the play. That's probably why they called that one.
But then you see, like, right in front of the ref, Cam York goes into the boards. Stamkos is behind him, forearm in the numbers.
Yeah,
and it's like, no.
That was glaring.
Like, you're not even, nothing? Like, a 2-minute minor for boarding. I'm not trying to throw the guy in jail here, but, like,
it's a penalty.
That was a very obvious penalty. Yeah. This was a weird one. And the officiating has been suspect to start this year. I wanted to, before we get to stars and super chats real quick, talk about Bobby Brink because...
low-key really strong game by Brink.
No points, +2 though, 2 shots on goal. I thought he was everywhere again tonight.
Yeah.
I did have him over half a point. Luckily, Noah Cates came through with us, so we got one of the 2 pregame bets. But Bobby Brink, despite not registering a point, like, was a factor.
Key contributor on both goals. The first goal, he gets blown up and then still has the wherewithal to move the puck basically while he's still sitting on the ice, keeps the puck alive. Eventually, it gets over to York, who makes the great pass to Michkov. And then even on the second goal, on the Cates goal, the eventual game winner, he's charging the net.
He's net front, yeah.
He's net front, and he's opening up space. He makes contact with one of the Nashville defensemen that kind of knocks them off their game a little bit. That honestly was like borderline interference. But you know what? Again,
he's getting good at that.
It's a physical sport. Yeah. You're allowed to make contact. You're allowed to kind of go through guys because, hey, like, this isn't two-hand touch. It's a physical sport. So love that type of play from Bobby Brink going to the net. Again, it goes back to what Rick Tocchet was saying after Sunday's game about, we got guys, they're playing, they're not going to the hard ice. They don't have the will. They're not going to the net front enough. Sean Couturier clearly took that to heart. We've seen that in both the games since. But Bobby Brink, little 5'8" Bobby Brink, he's taking it to heart too.
That's why I think if you can't fight through contact from Bobby Brink, he's 5'8", 169.
It's a really good point.
Like, I don't know, man. You got to hit the weight room.
Yeah,
like, this guy's 170 pounds.
Clearly, Bobby Brink has.
He clearly has. All right. Let's hit Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game. Chuck, you got some good choices here. There's some goal scorers, a great goaltending effort. Who is tonight's 3rd star?
3rd star of the game is the goal scorer of the game-winning goal, Noah Cates.
Noah Cates.
Just another strong Noah Cates game. Like, it's at this point, he's just becoming a guy where every night I'm like, yeah, Noah Cates is going to play well.
He made that one back check defensive play to just break something up. It was like, this could be dangerous, and he just like comes behind,
out of nowhere,
clears the puck, and we both looked at each other like, that was Cates, and turns around, it was 27. That's him.
Sure was. Yeah, and it's easy to forget, but he scored the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't the driver of that goal, but he's in the right spot. He pops in the rebound off the Drysdale initial shot. Flyers win the game in no small part because Noah Cates scores a big goal at a key time, continues to improve on his offensive play. I think, what now does he have?
4 goals, 10 points in 14 games.
10 points in 14 games. Not too shabby from Noah Cates, a guy who, it's easy to forget, 5th-round pick, okay? This is not what we expected to be getting out of a 5th-round pick. If you get a 4th-line NHLer out of a 5th-round pick, you're happy.
Oh, yeah.
Flyers might have a 2nd liner.
They really may. All right, who is star number 2?
Star number 2, we talked about him at the top of the show. Cam York, thought he had a fantastic game, finishes with 2 assists, but it wasn't just the assists. And the assists were good. I mean, you have the flip pass on the empty netter, you have the great pass on the Michkov goal, both great plays. But he was making plays throughout the entire game. He was making good defensive plays. He was creating offense up at the point. He was using his legs. He was using his stick to break up plays. He was just assertive in all 3 zones. Loved the game from Cam York. As I said, his underlying numbers this season going into this game were great. My guess is they'll go down a little bit because the Flyers got outchanced pretty dramatically in this game at 5-on-5. But by the eye test, man, this might have been my favorite game of Cam York this season by the eye test, and he's had some good ones. 2nd star.
All right, and I don't think there's going to be much controversy about this one, but for posterity, who's tonight's 1st star?
Yeah, it's Dan Vladar. He was fantastic. As I said, faced over 4 expected goals worth of shots, of chances in this game, allows only 1, and that was a total fluke goal. He didn't see it. It bounced probably off of 2 guys, including one of his own dudes. Can't pin that on him even a little bit. Near perfect game from Dan Vladar on a night when the Flyers, especially in the beginning, did not have their fastball and probably got outplayed. Dan Vladar was not just the difference. I mean, what did Tocchet call him last week? Actually, against this same team. What do you call him? The smelling salts?
Yes.
Yeah, he was the smelling salts again in this one.
They actually played a very similar game last time. At one point, the shots were 9-1 Predators in that first meeting in Philly. So maybe this is the formula. You play rope-a-dope with the Preds. I don't know. All right.
Maybe they're just bad.
Maybe they just stink. Maybe they just stink. All right, let's hit these super chats. First one from R Park. Andre plays, Flyers win. You don't really need him out there that much, but him and Delorier, you get minimal ice time, but maximum results. I don't know what else to say.
Delorier, to his credit, apparently Delorier got the goalie mask from the guys after the game. He did play a very physical game.
When this game, I started to notice him a little bit more as the game started to go that way, and suddenly I started seeing him get a couple extra shifts. I was like, all right, I get it. Yeah, it makes sense.
This is a game where it makes sense. Yeah.
All right, another one here. No, this is Stephen Asheru. Michkov played 6 less minutes than Dvorak. Yeah. Devo leading this team in ice time on a nightly basis is really something.
Yeah, it really is. Tocchet.
They're getting their money's worth. They're like, we're paying you. We are paying you, bro. You're going out there and you're playing first line minutes, apparently.
He only got 1840 in this game, so it wasn't like the one game where he got 24 minutes. Honestly, Steven, like, I get why you're frustrated. Dvorak was more effective in this game overall than Michkov on a shift-by-shift basis. I'm sorry, he was.
To play better.
I
love the guy.
He got the goal, and that's great. But Dvorak on a shift-by-shift basis was the more effective player tonight.
I think he's going to be a star, but at some point, we can't just keep blaming the coach when, I don't know, he had like 12 turnovers in the first period. I don't know what the coach is supposed to do. All right, from JH. JH says, Michkov and Vladar are both back, and the rest of the team was fantastic too. We're so back, may never lose again. I'll be here for the oh no, we suck again on Saturday. You know I hate losing to the Sens, but yeah, I hope this is the start of some more prolonged good play. But as I said on both our show in Philadelphia, the inconsistency part of the build. Now we go to overtime. Head to allphly.com to keep watching. All right. Yeah, I know that they're not going to just rattle off 10 in a row. That would really surprise me because, I don't know, 2 games ago they had 18 shots. But
and everyone was ready to burn the whole thing to the ground.
Yeah, but I would like to see some more execution on offense. Like, Vladar stay solid, the PK. There are things I think are sustainable, but as a whole, I think they're mediocre, and they're building, and the inconsistency is just going to be part of it.
They haven't put it all together.
Yeah.
Like, you had 2 nights ago, I thought the offensive process was a lot better, but the defense and the goaltending wasn't quite there. Tonight, the goaltending was certainly there. The defense was, at times, especially in the third period, really good. The offense only showed up in spurts. They get the win, but we've yet to see that full, offense, defense, goaltending, everybody great. They finish with 38 shots, they win 4-1, and you're like, yeah, they dominate this game start to finish. Haven't seen that yet. Hopefully we'll see it at some point in the near future.
All right. Next one here, again from JH. The Wawas in Miami suck, the same as in Philly. I feel like I'm home. You can never say anything bad about Wawa to me. I go to
How
Wawa
dare you.
every single day.
How
You just
dare
have to
you,
know what
JH.
to get. Like, like there's just certain items you have to know to get. The pepperoni melt sandwich is one of my favorite food items on this planet, hands down. I would eat more of them if my doctor was like, you're gonna die. You need to stop eating pepperoni every day. All right. Next one here from Timbo Slice says, why not us? Tankers in shambles tonight. Sometimes you just need a get-right game, and the Preds are that team. Vladar, Vezina, Wen, keep the good vibes and move on to the next win, boys. Yeah, I had a tweet early in the game, like, one shot through 11 minutes. It's not what you want. Someone was like, it is if you want to be in the McKenna sweepstakes. Like, but they don't want to do that. That would be failure to them. And I don't want the organization to fail. Like, they are doing something else. Gavin McKenna would rule.
Yeah.
Unless they have an Islanders situation, though, it's not going to happen.
Also, I'm just going to say this. It's not like Gavin McKenna is being unbelievable at Penn State. He's been very good, and he's going to be the #1 overall pick. But he is not producing even like Macklin Celebrini as a freshman numbers. So maybe we should take a little step back on the idea that he's a generational player. He's probably going to be a very good player, but I'm not convinced, based on what he's produced thus far at Penn State, that he's like, oh my God, the next superstar, and everyone should tank to get him good.
I don't want to sidetrack too much because I want to go home, but how many guys can be generational in a generation?
It's a very good point.
Like, how many people can we tag with this before it's like, so that's just every great player is generational? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Crosby and Ovechkin, generational. McDavid, generational. Unless you are the best guy, you're not, you're just another really good player. Maybe he will be. I have no idea. But let's go. Next one. Thank you, Brenna. From Gary Peterson. Can Brenna post Bill's phenomenal San Jose
that was
loss
so good.
meltdown from the 11/7/2023 tomorrow? The rant makes my commute. Thank you, and hit that like button.
That
Love
was
it.
so good.
You know what? I do an on this date most days on Philadelphia. Maybe I play it on there tomorrow.
Yes.
That'll kill a couple minutes.
Because they were winless, right? They hadn't won a game.
Yeah, that was their first win of the season,
Yep.
San Jose's.
Yep.
And I lost my mind. All right. This one is, another one from J.E. Michkov is a fun, important player, but he genuinely lacks speed and acceleration. He needs another gear. With his vision and offense, a slightly faster version of 39 would be very dangerous. Yes, that is... He got around just fine last year, and he did seem to have the just fast enough. Like, he's getting caught, and he got the shot off and he scored.
Yep.
But you do see, man, if he could just push off a little bit, get away from this, and he would have a shooting lane. You do need a little bit of that acceleration. That is something he needs to improve on.
Yeah, it absolutely is. At this point, I would take the Michkov skating and speed from last season.
Certainly.
And then from there, hopefully he can build on it. Let's get him back to there first. And then from there on, it's easy to forget. Kid's just 20 years old.
20.
He's got a lot more developmental time to go. The kid, the Michkov that he is right now is not the Michkov he's going to be at age 24, 25. Hopefully, he'll be a hell of a lot better.
I believe he will be. All right, this one from Obi-Wan. Shout out to Brenna, Hey, Bill, and
Brenna.
Chuck. Brenna getting love in the super chats
It's
tonight.
a late night for all of us. So.
It is. The 8 o'clock start. Like, yeah, it's midnight. Let's go home. Shout out to Brenna. Oh, that was Obi again. DA Flyers, man. I hate that clean stick lifts get called hooks and slashes so often. Hate it. It's not a Flyers thing. It's league-wide. Yes, I do think there's like a certain amount of like slashing that isn't actually slashing, but it is today. But
Yeah.
you know, it was worse 20 years ago. Like we were talking about that Forsberg run when it was just everything was a penalty.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, JH, I'll hold you to that, Bill. We'll report on Saturday. All right, and that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. And hit the like button. We're over 200. Thank you. Let's boost it up even more. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. And follow the podcast. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill Matz. That is Charlie O'Connor. Thank you to Brenna. Till tomorrow, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.